How's it going, everybody? Welcome. I'm here at Six Flags New England. We're gonna ride as many roller coasters as I can. I think I've mentioned before, I'm trying to ride as many as I can unique roller coasters this year. So I invite you to come along. Let's check out this park. One of the oldest operating parks that Six Flags owns. A lot of history here. So I'm right at the entrance here, and to my left is the carousel as we start making our way down the entrance. It's kind of like your Main Street USA type of thing. And this was redone when new owners took over. I believe it was the Riverside Amusement Park. So we're walking closer to where things split off in a T. I see the Riverboat Cafe, which must be an homage to when this was accessible by river. Some sort of dance party going on. This looks fun. So as you make your way down the initial entrance, we hit a T. Down that way is all the superhero areas and where you would go for Hurricane Harbor. Down this way is Goliath and Wicked Cyclone and Pandemonium. But we're gonna go straight ahead here to Thunderbolt, which is the oldest roller coaster that stayed in the same spot since it opened, and I believe this one opened in 1941. The plans for it were actually purchased at the 1939 New York World's Fair, and it opened being called the Cyclone, but then it was renamed in '64 to the Thunderbolt. It only has one train, and riding it was kind of a trip because the ride attendant has to lock and unlock each car manually. It's a lot of fun, not a bad way to start your day before you start going off to either side. Bugs and Daffy acting a fool back there. Really funny. So, Thunderbolt, a lot of fun, very classic. Definitely start your day that way if you are collecting credits. We're gonna start heading over to like the DC superhero area. So I'm here in the Rockville area, which is on the way to the DC section. This is one of the first theming changes that was made by Premier Parks when they bought it in the 90s. So you can see that there's a city hall right here for the city of Rockville. It's actually themed pretty cool. This is the Rockville Rings, but it's got like a coin-operated laundromat thing going here. There's a drugstore, a market, of course the body shop for the cars just like this. Just thought I'd mention it because it looked pretty cool, but it is over kind of quick. I think there's a little bit more as we turn the corner here, but then we're immediately placed into the DC section. Actually, one cool thing I see right here is that the TV and appliance repair store is where they put all the arcade games. So there is actually a quick service place that has that old school diner location type of thing going on here. Behind me here is the Rockville Theater, where they do actually have like a live show, and I've seen some of them in the years that I've been coming here, and they're usually pretty good. All right, here we are entering the Gotham City area, and immediately to the right is one of those SNS 4D free spins. We have one very similar at my home park, Six Flags Great Adventure. So right next to the Joker here, we have Harley Quinn Spin Sanity, Giant Discovery. Not bad, standard-ish at this point. They seem to be featuring those in almost every Six Flags park. Now I'm coming up on, I don't know what it's called right now. Mindy Racer is what I knew it as. I believe it's now called the Riddler's Revenge. Let's go find out. All right, so it's called the Riddler Revenge, but this is your standard Vekoma SLC. It's a pretty rough ride, if I remember correctly. If you had to skip any one of the coasters here, I would vote this one just because of how rough of a ride it is. So we're slowly making our way towards the Dark Knight. And I just wanted to point out the fun name that this swing set ride has, the Crime Wave. That's fun. And here's the actual entrance to the Joker. Over there was not the entrance where I was filming. And here is the Dark Knight. So Batman the Dark Knight used to be known as Batman the Ride. It opened back in 2002. It's a solid B&M floorless. It's one of my favorite rides here, and highly recommend giving this one at least 2 goes. A couple of my favorite ride elements are the big vertical loop and then the dive loop that happens right after that. There's a zero gravity roll that's pretty cool, and then some interlocking corkscrews, which I am a big fan of. So yeah, this is one of the more fun B&Ms that I've been on. Let me know your thoughts. That Batman the Dark Knight is such a great ride. I've never met a B&M floorless I did not like. I'm walking over to 2 other coasters that are down here in this. I had to walk through the kids area, which was a little weird. I don't remember having to do that. So the first roller coaster you're going to see is Catwoman Whip. I actually had a lot of fun with this one. It is a Zero family roller coaster with a double figure-8 track layout, and there's a lot of trees in the path of the roller coaster. Like, as decoration, it's something that I don't normally see, is natural ride elements on this type of family-style roller coaster. But it surprised me. I enjoyed it a lot. If you keep going past the Wonder Woman Whip, once you're done with that, you can head over to the Gotham City Gauntlet here, which is a really fun wild mouse, and one of the only wild mouses that I recall being on that actually has a ride photo. Other than that, it's pretty standard. So I just spotted where they put in the Cyborg Hyperdrive. It is a chance freestyle, and it seems like the entire queue is outside here. Alright, so there's a lot to say about Superman the Ride. My biggest tip is don't get stapled, and the ride is going to be next level. So it's a Intamin hyper coaster, 208-foot drop, max speed of 77 miles per hour. Fun fact that back when this was Riverside Park, there was a speedway on here, and it was demolished to make way for this expansion. When Six Flags bought it, of course it got a DC roller coaster in there. And it was, for a while, the tallest and longest roller coaster on the East Coast. Now this ride, I believe you can see the Connecticut River from here, and if you look over to the side, just imagine back in the day, guests would arrive by steamship on the Connecticut River, and that's why this park was not considered a trolley park. As far as awards and tickets and rankings and all that goes, it does have a Golden Ticket Award for Top Steel Roller Coaster. For like the better part of the last 20 years, it has alternated between the top spot or the second place spot. Right now it's firmly in like the top 5, maybe top 10, but definitely a great roller coaster. So I made my way over to the other side of the park, and here is Goliath. Now I know Goliath is a very popular name when it comes to roller coasters, just as popular as Cyclone might be. But this is a Vekoma giant inverted boomerang, so just nothing quite like I've ever experienced. This is one of the only rides I've actually grayed out on. It is rough, but a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, this was not operating last season. I heard it was because of a snapped cable, but I'm not certain. This thing is brutal in almost a good way. Surprisingly enough, there is a regular Vekoma boomerang at this park. I'm surprised that they have one. That's all I'm going to say about it. I think any of you guys who are chasing credits have seen one of these, have been on one of them. I hope that sometime soon they have plans to do something else with this spot. So just beyond the Vekoma boomerang is Pandemonium, which is a Gerstlauer spinning roller coaster, and there's quite a few of these in the Six Flags parks. I believe there's 5 different installations. I actually really enjoyed this one, and it's gone through a bunch of different iterations, including a Mr. Six's. If you remember that mascot, it had a whole Mr. Six thing going on, and then at some point it was licensed for Tony Hawk, but it remains one of my favorite ones here, just an unexpectedly fun ride. Alright guys, we have made it to the last coaster of the park, the Wicked Cyclone. So back in 1983, Riverside Amusement Park, that's what this park was called prior, they decided to open up the Riverside Cyclone. And it operated for quite some time with the typical PTC design and all that sort of stuff. Until 2014, Rocky Mountain Construction was hired by Six Flags and did a full transformation of the track. This one is one of the first hybrid coasters on the East Coast, and one of the only hybrids to have a 200-degree stall and 2 0G rolls. It opened again in 2015 under the name of Wicked Cyclone. It is by far one of my favorite rides. I cannot gush enough about this roller coaster. Its design is super unique to me. This is my first experience with a RMC. Highly recommend giving this one a shot if you are by any means a roller coaster fan. It has a ton of history to appreciate. If you look at the design elements, you can see how the conversion was done. It's usually a tough choice to pick a number 1 at this park between Superman the Ride and Wicked Cyclone. I ducked into the kids area right here real quick next to Goliath to point out the Great Chase here. It's a family style E&F roller coaster. Not familiar with that manufacturer, but if you are hunting credits, here's another +1 for you guys. It's pretty simple, but it is right up against Thunderbolt, so when both of them are going, it is kind of cool. I think that's going to do it for us here today at Six Flags New England. I did manage to get on all the roller coasters here except that kiddie one, family one, the Great Chase. I didn't end up doing that one. So all told, it took about 4 hours to get on everything, which wasn't too bad. I still don't know which is my favorite here, but it's a toss-up between Superman the Ride and Wicked Cyclone. Ride ops were solid today. Everything was running at least 2 trains. One roller coaster, Thunderbolt, only runs 1 train, so you got to definitely catch that one early. That would be my recommendation anyways. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and I hope you go make your own adventure. Hey guys, I wanted to settle a debate here. Which roller coaster is better? Superman the Ride or Wicked Cyclone? Wicked Cyclone? Wicked Cyclone? No? Superman? Okay. But Porky is all about Wicked Cyclone. Okay, so the debate continues. Got it. Do you get a vote? Wicked Cyclone. Oh, siding with Porky. Thank you guys.